So as my wife and my children have stayed and observed this thing, uh, we now know we call it a tree and it produced fruit, and we now call this thing an orange. You got to remember, thousands of years ago, things did not have a name. Before God named them, or Adam named a lot of things too. He named all the animals, which shows you what a gracious God really is. He let Adam name many things. In fact, Adam named his wife Eve because she was the mother of all living things. So God is a very gracious God. You know, the orange was made for mankind. It was not made for any other creature because no other creature cultivates. That means no other creature grows oranges in this very to this very day. Most oranges are navel oranges because we have chosen that we like the sweet navel oranges. They're grown in the United States, in Florida and California, and of course, they're grown in Brazil and South America. And they're loved throughout the world. And we have observed in nature how hybrids are made. We have first observed what's called natural hybrids, and we learned through trial and error how to make hybrids. God has blessed us with a mind to understand and to observe nature and then try to mimic and copy what's done in nature. And we've become very successful at creating and making our favorite types of oranges. Do you understand? But first, the orange happened in nature, by what's called a natural hybrid, which came from a couple what's called super species, okay, of two different fruits. But some people think that man made oranges. That's not true. Oranges were a natural hybrid. Then it was later, after we learned how to make hybrids, and after trial and error and scientific developments, we learned how to make hybrids. And in this modern day, we're very good at making hybrids, and we've got it down to an art. In fact, we can make seedless fruits now, which is really something else. And we do make our favorite type, and we cultivate it. In America, we've only been cultivating the sweet oranges for probably about 400 years, maybe, or less. So it's really not been that long. But the orange is a great creation. It really is. But think of a lot of the attributes to the orange. Why is the fruit round? Because it can roll away from the tree, before it decomposes, because trees need space, to grow. If it falls right beneath the tree, it's not going to grow because trees need sunlight, they need space to grow. So therefore it's round so it can roll. Round things roll. The ones at the top can, in a storm, or if the wind blows, the wind starts whipping the tree limbs around. You got to remember that orange trees have very flexible branches. They're not stiff and rigid, so they whip around like a whip. Everything has intelligent design to it. They don't have real thick branches where they're rigid, nothing moves. They whip around like a whip, and then some of the fruit go flying, but they go flying far enough where they roll far enough away where some of them decompose, and then by chance and luck, some of them take root and another tree starts to grow. But when it grows, it's far enough away where it has a chance to make it because it rolls far enough away from the original tree. And trees need space to grow. I see high intelligent design in that. See, that didn't happen by evolution. That happened by somebody who put a lot of thought into the design of the fruit. And that, because it has a lot of logical uh, attributes to it, because it needs space, it needs this, it needs that. You understand? So evolution does not have a mind, it doesn't have a brain. Whoever made all these choices, and you could see the logic in it, has to have a brain, has to have a mind. Man certainly didn't make the orange. He didn't. Man started to cultivate the orange later in life. Man has cultivated the orange in America only for the last maybe 400 years or so. So it's a very young fruit in America. but it's been around for thousands of years in the wild. It's a hybrid. It's a natural hybrid from a couple super species fruit. It happened in nature. And now we've made our favorite fruits. We pretty much like the navel fruit, the sweet fruit. Uh, it's predominantly grown in Florida, California, and South America and Brazil. Anyway, so it's really a great creation. But if you look closely at the attributes of the orange, you have to come to the conclusion that somebody created it, not evolution. If you look at the cycle of a tree, how it grows, how it comes from a seed, one seed, it's amazing. It's amazing how that works. The cycle of it, that it goes into the ground, into the soil by chance and luck, because there's 400 or 500 of these, and it's got a whole bunch of seeds in each orange. So that you got a lot of seeds on that one tree. But they all don't take root. You understand? By chance and luck, only a few do, maybe. And the seeds get dispersed either by storms, by wind, or birds eat the part of the orange, they eat the seeds, but uh, the seeds don't break down in the stomach acids of a bird, and then the bird flies away, and then he defecates, and then actually the feces of a bird will actually help fertilize the and mixed with the soil will actually help a seed start to germinate and start to grow. There's a cycle. Even dung, feces is used as natural fertilizer. A whole cycle. Okay, you can see this big plan, this master plan of life. Do you understand evolution? There's no way evolution came up with a master plan of life. Otherwise, evolution has a master brain. This didn't just happen because everything makes sense, and there's a cycle to it. Do you understand? It leaves nothing uh, out. Everything is accounted for. Do you understand? It all has a reason for everything. Do you understand? Evolution. There's no way evolution will ever make any sense. A mastermind with high intelligence made this big master plan of life with this big cycle of life. You understand? Seeds, growth with sunlight and water, reaping, harvesting, making more seeds, and this continuation, which leads to believe that there is a future. Because why? Because things will continue to grow. Do you understand? Without man. Do you understand? We can. The beauty of seeds are we could take the seeds out of the fruit and plant them closer to where we live. But we cannot provide the light nor the water. We could go get water out of a creek, a lake, a river, but without rain, all those resources will dry up. We can't make it rain. So God provides the sunlight, the water and the light. We can never provide those two things or the seeds. But He has provided us with a mind to understand these great things, the cycle of how this tree grows with a seed, with time, it's planted. What tells me that He truly loves us because he doesn't just leave us in the dark about how this works. He lets us understand through observing this whole cycle. Men can think about this and this and that. Children don't understand it. Women really don't. They have somewhat of an understanding, but a man fully understands this great cycle of, oh, there's seeds in this orange, and this is how this tree started, and it grew, and it matured, and then it started more fruit, and it has seeds in it. But I can take some of these seeds. We can take it back to where I live. I can put them in the ground. I can space them out with water and sunlight. We can have plenty of orange trees for me and my family and my friends, my neighbors. That is an indication of a loving God because I can understand this whole cycle. Plus, I can bring them close to where I live if I want to. I don't have to, but if I love this particular fruit, I can bring them and grow them closer. I can pick and choose which fruits I like. Take the seeds over to where I live. Think of all the different kinds of fruits. I can pick and choose. Oh, I like this apple tree. I like this orange tree. I like the grapefruit. I like the peach tree. I like the plums. I'm going to bring the seeds close to where I live, grow them right out my back door. That's a loving creator, a very loving creator, because I understand how to do this and I have the ability to do it. Evolution doesn't love. Evolution can't love you. Evolution's not alive. It's not a living thing. Only a living soul could love another living soul. God is a living soul. God has the biggest heart of all of us. Anyway, when you look at this big cycle, you think to yourself, okay, this came from an orange because there had to be a seed for this tree to grow. And you think, where did that orange come from? Where did that seed come from? This tree had to have a seed to get its start. And you'd think, okay, everything had to have a seed. All the fruit trees have to have seeds to start. All the vegetables that we eat have to have seeds. All the grass that blankets the earth, almost all the earth is blanketed by some type of grass, has to start with seeds. Everything. Just about everything. All the grass, all the trees, and all the multitude of different kind of trees. All the fruit trees. You understand? All the vegetables that we enjoy, that we eat. Everything started out with seeds. Even you started out with seeds. Think of how you got your beginning. You started out with millions and millions of sperm, and only one out of those millions attached to one egg in a female. One out of millions and millions attached to one egg. There's such an overabundance of seeds being, it's just seeds, but it's like chance and luck that one takes hold and grows. It's just amazing to me how much seeds there are, but how few grow. You understand? But there's an overabundance of seed. By chance and luck, one grows, but there's a lot that grows too, and they provide more seeds and more grow. But think about this. It has to go back in time and history. Keep going back. Keep going back. If you think about the population of the world when it comes to people, you know how it works, okay? How did it get started? There had to be a man and a woman at first. One man and one woman had to start all of this population. My question is, it's like one seed had to start an orange tree. One seed had to start a peach tree, a banana tree, a plum tree. One seed had to start corn growing, beans growing, thousands and thousands of vegetables. One seed had to start the grass growing, all the different kind of trees growing. Think of all the animals that had to start with two. There had to be a male and a female lion at first. There had to be two cows, a male and a female cow of each breed. There had to be a male and a female giraffe, a male and a female hippopotamus, a male and a female rhinoceros, a male and a female grizzly bear. And think of all the different kind of thousands and thousands of animals. There had to be pairs, a male and a female. Like I said, human beings. There had to be a male and a female. Everything started with seeds. But at the beginning, there only had to be a male and a female. There only had to be two seeds. Do you understand? Everything started with seeds when you go back in time. But my question to you is, if you think evolution is true, where did those first seeds come from? Where did the first seeds come from all of life? All of it. For all the plants, for all the vegetables, for all the fruit trees, for everything, for all the animals. And what about people? For mankind? Where did it all start? Where did the first seeds come from for everything? You understand? There has to be a God. Evolution will never make any sense. There's never been any proof of evolution. It's got no basis in reality at all. Do you understand? It's taught in secular schools because you can't teach religion in secular schools. Do you understand? It's just a theory. It's never been proven. It's never going to be proven because it's not true at all. You know, they claim that they have found prehistoric dinosaur bones here and there scattered throughout the earth, but they can't find one missing link fossil of any species between the apes and monkeys and man. And there had to be trillions. There had to be thousands upon thousands upon thousands of species between the monkey and man, and then millions, maybe billions of each species that populated the earth. And we can't find one bone, not one fossil, but we can find bones from prehistoric dinosaurs. It's a farce. Don't you understand? It's a farce. God made it that way because he made monkeys and apes and orangutans, and they're very similar to people, and this and that. But don't forget, you have to have faith to believe in God. There's never going to be any scientific evidence that God exists. Why? Because all generations will need faith. That's what the Bible says. You need faith to believe in God. That's what the Holy Bible says. That will be true for all generations to come. That means one thing. There's never going to be any scientific proof that God exists, because the minute there is, faith becomes irrelevant. It becomes not needed. If you have scientific proof that God exists, what good is faith? Do you understand? So God created the universe, created the world, this world, and left no evidence that he exists. He had to, because you need faith to believe in him. Do you understand? But I'm telling you, the evidence that he's real, that he exists, is all around us. Do you understand? All it takes is a very small amount of faith to believe he exists. Just look at the wonder of the world. I've just brought up one thing in this video series out of billions, maybe trillions of things in this world, in this universe. An orange and an orange tree. Do you understand? But these things cannot be denied. These observations and conclusions, the simplest of minds to the most brilliant minds in the world, cannot deny these observations and conclusions. They're firsthand. You can do it yourself. Don't forget, it says in the Bible in 1 John 4:8 that God is love. Trying to get a scientist to prove that love exists is an impossible task. God is spirit. God is love. You can't prove that love exists. You can't. God is invisible. The only part of you that can see God is the invisible part of you. Jesus said, "For the pure in heart shall see God." You're only going to see God with a pure heart. Do you understand? The only reason I know that God exists for sure is because love exists in this world. Because God is love, see? As long as love exists in this world, God exists.